Sip Kishan, Sip Veena Shastri, Sip Ru Tanu. Welcome to the call. Sip Girish, Sip Dasi Buddh, Sip Ru Tanu, Sip Sagai, Sip Krishna, Sip Atmatray, Sip Tina, Sip Vanita, Sip Shair, Rajesh, Sip Bliko, Sip Chidanand, Sip, many of you whom I cannot see. Welcome to this call. We are on an interesting subject today. And the subject today, what is the connection between consciousness and yoga? What is the connection between consciousness and yoga? So let me see who is going to give us some gyan. What is the link between consciousness and yoga? Who's going first? You know what's consciousness, you know what's yoga. Chidanand, what is the connection between these two?
Shivam Guruji.
Shivaham.
Consciousness is nothing but Satchitananda. We know that, or is a part of Atma. Whereas yoga, we can say, is a means to realize that. So, but yoga has got three different meanings nowadays. One is yoga in the sense of exercise, physical asana, they call it. Yeah. Other one is Patanjali yoga, where you go in for meditation, where you try to realize consciousness through Nirodha. That means by, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. You still the mind and then you automatically go into consciousness. Other one is Bodha, that what we say basically says through Jnana, where we see the movie and we also know behind the movie there is the screen which is permanent. So there is Jnana Marga, where you can go through this whole yoga from the sense of union with the Lord. And one is Nirodha, where you say, no, do the meditation, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, and chitta vritti. What Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, yogasya chitta vritti nirodha. And then you realize God. Yeah. So yoga is a means, basically, to realize Satchidanand, consciousness.
So Chidanand, most of the people in the call get very confused with terms. So we don't use too many terms because they can't understand. But we use simple. Yoga as a simple word. We don't want to call okay, so yoga and consciousness. So what you've said is a lot of valid points. What is the connection between the two?
One is the means and one is the goal.
Okay. So what is the means?
Yoga is a means. By performing.
And through yoga, you'll reach a state of consciousness?
Yes, to realize conscious. We are always conscious, but we are, because of ignorance, we think that we are not. So that is a different, but to realize or remove this ignorance, one has to follow yoga. Whether it is meditation or whether it is jnana, whatever, or prema yoga. When we say prema yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga, we are trying to be in union with the Lord. And when you say Raja Yoga, we are going into the field of Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
Okay, so let me get, thank you, Chidanand. I think we need more and more inputs and clarity into the subject. Krishna, what is the connection between consciousness, what is the connection and yoga? Come on.
So good evening. I'm answering in the light of yesterday's conversations, yesterday's call.
Yeah.
When we are in the state of consciousness, that means we are not in the mind state, or we are in a state of mindfulness. And when we are in the state of consciousness, we are in control of our thoughts. Correct. Or else we are the master of our thoughts. So so we can connect our thoughts, or we can orient our thoughts, or we can direct our thoughts to connect to the divine or our true identity. And that means maybe many, as Siddhanji said, different types of yoga, but basically to connect with the divine or to the higher. Otherwise, we will be in the mind state and we will go to bhoga. So by being in the state of consciousness, you can connect to the higher or the divine or your true identity. So it takes.
So what is the connection between the two?
Yeah, only if you are in this. Otherwise, you have so many thoughts. You are in the mind state. It will take you to bhoga. It is not going to connect you to the higher. Yoga means connecting you to the higher.
But you don't need consciousness to be in yoga.
Otherwise, many thoughts, you don't have the power to choose your thoughts. No.
But if you're in yoga, if you're in yoga, if you're in
You have
dhyana
stilled your
yoga,
mind. Only if you have stilled your mind, you have calmed your mind, or the mind is silenced, any words. But thing is, what I have understood from yesterday's call, in consciousness, there is a kind of less thoughts or a thoughtless state or whatever. You are stilling your mind so that it helps you to connect to the higher. So the connection is only if you are conscious of your thoughts, or if you can choose your thoughts, you can connect to the higher. I think you are eligible for yoga. I think so.
no, what you say is correct. I'm wondering whether we are understanding the connection. See, yesterday, what was the discussion we had yesterday? Evolving in levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
That's how we came to today's. That's how we came to today's topic, right? It's connect.
Right.
It is. So when we said when you want to evolve in levels of consciousness, what did we speak? You need to reach that state of consciousness where there is mindfulness, where there is thoughtlessness, where
Yes.
it is not measurable, but like these scientific saying to the brain, you can't measure
Yes.
consciousness like that.
True.
Okay.
That means we are
So now,
transcending.
yeah. So now
We are
today we are trying
transcending.
to.
There is no body, mind, ego there. When you're reaching a state of when you're conscious,
Yeah.
your ignorance, you're free of your ignorance, and you are connecting to that truth. Then there is bliss. You said you are locked in that truth consciousness. Then there is bliss. So that helps you to connect to that state. I don't know.
So that is those are levels of consciousness. Now you're going back to yesterday's discussion. We are not doing that. Okay.
No,
So
you
yesterday,
said what is the connection between consciousness and yoga? I
correct.
think consciousness from the state of consciousness, only if you are in the state of consciousness, because that is the you can connect you step
Wait,
or soul.
wait. Let me just bring some clarity. You are saying only in a state of consciousness we can be in yoga. Is that what you're saying?
You will understand otherwise you are not realizing, you are like
Krishna,
you said about the
Krishna,
monkey. Yeah.
you can be in bhakti yoga
Yeah.
without being in consciousness.
No, you said that is bhakti, but then it doesn't become bhakti yoga.
Okay. So yeah, you can, I agree with you. You cannot reach higher levels of bhakti yoga. I agree. But you can be at a level of you can reach from bhakti to bhakti yoga without being in deep consciousness. But you will not evolve further. I'll explain a little bit to you. I owe an explanation to you. Don't get confused. Um, what actually I meant that time was this. You can get into bhakti yoga, but you cannot be a yogi.
Okay.
I'll explain this a little bit more. I do understand that I am causing some confusion here. I don't want the confusion. So make sure today we clarify this. See, today's topic is very important for those people who want enlightenment. I meet hundreds of thousands of people, right? Some people, they will only ask one question. How's the biryani? Then they'll ask, paratha kaun sa hai paratha? Aloo paratha hai? Today I was talking, इधर बात करेंगे. आलू पराठा है, पनीर पराठा है, गोभी पराठा, कौन सा पराठा है? पराठा कितना वो कर्ड है, पिकल है, क्या है हमारे पास? This is the focus. The focus is not on anything else. Very few people like you all are blessed to be in a state of Satchidanand, to be in a state of consciousness, to be in a state of yoga. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So let us, today's discussion should help us to go to the next step. Today's Thursday, and tomorrow again, we will come to a weekly session. Krishna, for the moment, Rajesh Shire, but don't go away. Catch me for this clarity. Shire. ये सभी confusion आपके कारण नहीं. This full confusion, you are the culprit.
Okay. So मैं सोचता हूँ सर, I think so. Yoga is the process. Yoga is the process of union.
Good.
And consciousness is becoming one.
In consciousness, we can become one.
So जब मैं था हरि नहीं, अब हरि है तो मैं नहीं.
Correct. तो ये कब मालूम होता? This is what you're talking about the 8 stages. जब मैं था, वो मैं, that मैं goes, ignorance goes, then you become a jnani, then you become a Buddha. You become a Buddha. Correct. But
process.
That is the process. But the process is 8 stages we talked about. In the 8 stages, where does consciousness comes?
When you realize that means you are becoming one. So there is no difference.
See, Rajesh, in the 8 stages, we've got Mumukshu, we've got Jigyasu, become a Jnani, then you become a yogi. Correct. In yogi is one who's in a state of yoga. Up to this much, we are okay. Then we go on to Buddha. So where does this whole consciousness subject come from? Where does it align to all this?
It was all the way. It is realized after you become both.
So it's all the way. No, you've already said it the right way now. No, it's all through the way. Unless there is consciousness, you cannot be successful in Mumukshu and Jigyasu and Jnani and become a yogi. Consciousness has to be the part of the ingredients of this whole thing. But then what is the connection we still need to know? What is the connection? There is a connection. Are you telling me, Rajesh, that yoga is less important or consciousness is less important? What is more important? Then which is more important? Is yoga more important or consciousness more important?
Both are. I mean, I'm not connecting one is important. It is same like sugar. You know, sugar in halwa has different meaning. Sugar in tea is different meaning, but sweetness is same.
But is yoga and consciousness same?
I say yoga is a process to reach, means ingredient of consciousness only, but in consciousness you are already one. Yoga is taking you towards the union, but in consciousness you are already one. There is no difference, both of.
So today we are going to do doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. Little bit we are going to get into that. Okay, so you help me to get to that point. And I'm asking all of you masters on the call, please be clear. What is yoga? What is consciousness? And try to connect the two. Come back to me. Be very clear. We know what is yoga. We know what is consciousness. Again, I'm asking all of you who have spoken, Chidanand, Krishna, Shayad. Again, I'm the new and the other people. Come back to me. Come back with clarity on these two. And then let's see what is the connection. Just think a little bit more.
Because sir, one last thing for the fun side. But sometimes I say that yoga में अभी भी गोवा है थोड़ा बहुत. Consciousness में गोवा नहीं है वाला.
तो कनेक्शन क्या है? तो कनेक्शन क्या है? योगा में भोगा भी है और योगा में नोगा भी हो सकता है, लेकिन कॉन्शियसनेस एक अलग चीज है. So we are trying to get that. And don't see, in this call, we are not going by what the world says. We are going by simple truth. If I am wrong, you will tell me they're rubbish, bullshit, not acceptable. So we need the truth to come out. Quickly, let us know. There are many people on the call. Quickly, I'm going to ask. Ruth Anu is not responding. Ruth Anu, are you there? Rajendra. Ruth Anu disappeared. Rajendra?
Shivam, Guruji.
Shivam, boliye sir, and then Bliss.
Sir, I think we live in two states. Or we live in mind state, or we live in conscious state.
Correct.
If we go in that, if we any yoga sort of, I'm not really conversing with all these things, Karam yoga, Jnana yoga, whatever it is. If you live in, I'm trying to be in Jnana yoga. I go for meditation. That means I'm trying to conserve my mind, these thoughts and control my mind. That means from mind state, I'm trying to go to the conscious state.
You're trying, but you are not going.
No. Yeah, I go because one is the mind will be under my control. There will be no mind because of the meditation all these practices.
No, 1 minute. You may use the mind to go to yoga.
Because of desire to karni hai, mind se bhi hoga na.
Nahin, hold on. You may, for example, if you want to do seva, you want to do karma yoga, you may use the mind to do karma yoga.
Desire see ho, but I will be involved so much ज्ञान में या कर्म योग में या भक्ति योग में इतना इन्वॉल्व हो जाऊंगा कि मेरा माइंड पीछे हो जाएगा. It will remain.
No, you are right. The mind will get slowly. The mind will dissolve and dissolve and dissolve. But you can flip.
You can conscious will raise. मेरी जो conscious वो raise हो जाएगी.
But Rajendra, consciousness is something else, no, Rajendra. Consciousness is a separate subject. Consciousness is thoughtlessness. It is reaching that state of chitta. In that chitta, you have got realization of the truth. You experience ananda.
Consciousness is the state जहां मेरे mind को कोई disturbance नहीं हो जाएगी.
In that state, you may not have yoga.
Because of yoga, I will reach there, na. Because of yoga, I will be reaching there.
Your voice is getting cut off. Because of yoga,
I will be reaching there only. Because of yoga.
So that's what Chidanand said. Chidanand said yoga is the method to go to consciousness. This is what I think Chidanand said. Or Krishna, I think Chidanand. So, but we are trying to develop a connection. What is the connection? See, I'm asking you, Rajendra, as a seeker of enlightenment, you should know the connection between the two, or you should not know the connection.
Consciously, suppose I will be doing karma yoga. Karma yoga, something for the benefit of society and all that. Karma yoga, that if I will do it consciously, without any desire, without anything, so my mind will not disturb me, because of it is merits or demerits. इसमें fruits मिलेंगी, कुछ मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा, I will be doing it. तो उसमें वो consciously.
From karma yoga, you can drop to karma. The yoga can get cut off. Yes, before you drop into bhoga, you can come to noga. So there is a problem.
Okay.
We are trying to understand the problem. Bliss, okay, thank you. Bliss, Krishan, okay. And then we'll come back to Rumataji and then Chidanand and Krishna. Bliss, Krishan, Rumataji. Unmute, Bliss, unmute.
Ram, everyone. You hear me?
Yes, tell me, Bliss.
I think, according to me, then yoga is the way, and consciousness is the goal we have to reach. Because
no,
consciousness is always the goal we have to reach. Because in consciousness, you know the truth.
No, that is something else. You have to evolve in consciousness. You cannot just reach consciousness. So consciousness cannot become. Therefore, I did not. When Chidanand said first, yoga will take you to consciousness, but the goal of yoga is not consciousness. Yoga will lead to consciousness, but that's not the goal. Yeah. Okay, wait. Yeah. Please wait for 2 minutes. Yeah, we'll try to get the answer. Rumataji.
Pranam Guruji.
Krishan, I'm sorry. Pranam. I'm sorry, Krishan. Krishan is next. Okay, Boli Rumataji.
Guruji, I feel in consciousness metamorphosis takes place. We are one with God. But in yoga, we practice yoga to go towards consciousness, but it is not 100% that yoga will take us to consciousness.
So Rumataji and everybody else on the call, I'm going to pause here for 5-10 seconds, and I want to make one thing very clear. Do we have any doubt what is the meaning of yoga? Do we have any doubt?
No, Guruji.
Yoga is union with the divine. Yoga is going away from bhoga. Yoga is method of using dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, prema yoga to be connected to the divine. Clear? We are very clear what is yoga. Consciousness is a state of thoughtlessness. Consciousness is a state where the mind is still. There is no mind. You are in a state of consciousness. Then in that state you evolve. The intellect is activated. It is locked in as a Sthit Pragya. That is evolving in a state of consciousness. What is the connection between these two? Krishan. I want you, it's not a complicated subject. It's a very simple subject. Bolo Mataji. Rumataji, unlock, administrator, unmute.
Guruji, both take us to the truth.
Abhi aapne kuch badla diya. First you are saying, how to, Both take us to the truth. Okay, Rumataji, now you have, after I have explained the two meanings, now you are in consciousness, you are giving a different answer, which I'm keeping on the table. Okay? I'm keeping on the table and I'm asking Krishan to come in. Krishan, then after Krishan, Chidanand, Krishna, and Bliko. Krishan.
Shivam sir, according to me, consciousness is a stage where no mind, and which is everyone, all of us want to be enlightenment and a Satchit Anand.
Correct.
For that stage, consciousness is the minimum eligibility. Or second, yoga are the way or the path to reach that stage.
Which stage? Which stage?
एनलाइटनमेंट स्टेज,
करेक्ट करेक्ट,
सच्चिदानंद स्टेज, ये दोनों एक दूसरे के पूर्वक है. एक योगी एक ऑलवेज इन कॉन्शियसनेस और एक कॉन्शियसनेस पर्सन ऑटोमेटिक एक योगी की लाइफ
नॉट ऑटोमेटिकली, नॉट ऑटोमेटिकली.
ओके, तो ये दोनों एक दूसरे के पूरक हैं, यानी एक सिक्के के दो पहलू हैं जो इनको अलग अलग नहीं कर सकते.
Okay, good. Now you are coming also in line with what I don't know. We are still waiting to get to the SIPs revealing, but I'm asking Chidanand, Krishna, Bliko. Chidanand.
So when we say Satchit Ananda, there is Sat, Chit, and Anand. So Chit aspect is basically related to consciousness.
Only Chit. Satchidanand is
only Chit. No, no.
Yeah.
Chit aspect is only related to consciousness, because unless we make the Sat, if you, unless you can't in Chit, there is no Ananda, there is no Satchidananda, there is no enlightenment, anything of that sort. So yoga takes you to a particular level of a yogi. Thereafter, the Chit, with the help of the intelligence, has to evolve. Whereas buddhi has to come into play. Then the buddhi has to evolve from buddhi to meda to prajna, and that's how you flower, therefore, and then finally your ignorance goes away.
Therefore, connection between the two.
Connection between the two is yoga is one of the. Unless you are in yoga, you fall to bhoga. So that is yoga is like a pole vault. You know, you have to hold on to it and then move up.
It's
at a particular point.
It's a rope. It's a rope. You have to. If you don't want that rope,
you have to climb it.
You will fall. And consciousness.
Consciousness basically is always there. It's a part of SIP.
No, being in.
Will not be able to stick on. Will not be able to remain in consciousness if you don't take the support of yoga.
Okay, so what I'm trying to.
That's the initial stage, because after a particular stage, naturally you have to go to the prajna stage. And
I'm only, since you're advanced master, I'm asking a very simple question. A person who wants to be in yoga can be in yoga. You can be in dhyana yoga for some time.
Yes.
You can move to bhakti yoga. You can be in prema yoga, but you need not be in a state of consciousness. You may be in that state of yoga, noga, bhoga, yoga, noga, bhoga. You can be
in bhoga also I am in consciousness. Unless I am conscious, I will not be able to do the bhoga also.
The moment you are in consciousness, you will not be in bhoga. Because
that's a different aspect of consciousness. Yes.
Yeah. So you may not be in yoga. No, I'm correcting the point here. You may not be in yoga, but you will not be in bhoga. You may be in noga. You may not, because in consciousness, at least you will become aware. You become the witness.
Yes.
That is one aspect of spirituality. Yoga is another aspect of spirituality, where a bubukshu becomes a jigyasu.
It's clinging on. You have to cling on to that.
So
that's
now,
yoga.
are you agreeing with me that these two are connected or they are separate?
They are connected. Because unless you are in yoga, you cannot evolve in consciousness.
Sorry. No, are they same or they are different?
This is like a Venn diagram. You know, one is a smaller circle, one is a bigger circle. I cannot show you.
May not be like that. See, one aspect of yoga is what we need. We need to be in yoga to have that connection with the divine, the grace of the divine. We need to be constantly in yoga, not to be in bhoga. That is one aspect of life. The other aspect of life is to be in consciousness, to be a sthit pragya. So there are two separate aspects.
The prajna plays the role. Vivek
so if this is wrong, please come back to me. I'm saying there are two separate aspects of spirituality. If it is wrong, please come back to me. They are, you're right. They both intertwined somewhere or the other.
Entwined, yes.
But are they the same or they are two separate aspects of spirituality is what I'm leaving with you, Chidanand, and going to Krishna. Please contemplate for 1 minute. Krishna.
So my answer is almost similar to what, because in the first steps we learned that yoga is samatvam yoga uchyate or chitta vritti nirodhaka and all that, till one state when we are in the body state. As we go higher, we are transcending, we are dropping our body, we are dropping our ego. So till the state of yogi and then the Buddha state, all these equipments are needed. Right, sir?
No.
And
no,
then
what you're saying is right, but you're not building the connection
me,
between
so
the
now
two.
after you, actually yoga means you are an integrated personality now. And
no. See, understand what is yoga. Yoga is, here I'm giving you the mistake which I confused you last time. You may be in yoga, but you may not be a yogi.
Right.
Who is a yogi? Who is a yogi?
Yogi is always in truth consciousness.
Always in yoga. Always in yoga. Always in yoga.
Always in yoga.
Yeah, but it does not mean that somebody who's in yoga sometimes is a yogi. No.
Yeah. Yes.
Now that yogi, to be always in yoga, needs to be having consciousness.
Yes.
A yogi cannot be a real yogi unless, because without consciousness, it's very difficult to be in yoga all the time.
Right.
So there are two different aspects. The yogi needs both. The yogi needs to have yoga and the yogi also needs to be in chit.
Yeah.
Then the yoga aspect remains. He remains in yoga, but his chit evolves, what we spoke yesterday. His chit evolves. It goes higher and higher and higher.
Yes.
And while the chit evolves, his yoga is not gone. He's holding on to yoga.
Yes.
The moment if he drops from yoga to bhoga, if he becomes like an Osho and he drops into desires and everything else, if he drops, then even though he may have highest level of intelligence, can he reach the peak of spirituality?
No.
Because if any of us drops into bhoga, we are finished.
No, sir, but once you become that Atmik Satchitanand Atma state or you cross the Jivan Mukta state, where will you fall down?
Very difficult, but you can. If you do fall down, it only means your metamorphosis was not complete. If your metamorphosis is complete, you will not fall down. But if a person who seems to be in Satchidanand Atma, suddenly he drops into bhoga, what does it show? His metamorphosis was fake.
So may I ask you something? When you are educated in a particular subject, you have understood the grammar of English. You have taken a PhD in English. Will you ever speak, to a child? Will you ever slip down once you are reached that state?
In this state, yes, you can slip because the power of Maya is so strong. The power of this Leela is so strong. The Indriyas, the body Indriyas are very strong.
Till Buddha, I can understand. After Jivan Mukta.
You're not getting my point. Listen carefully. A real Jivan Mukta, who is a Sthit Pragya, will not fall.
Yes.
If a person who is a real Jivan Mukta and Satchidanand Atma falls, then what does it mean?
He was never a Jivan Mukta.
Now you are agreeing or not agreeing?
I agree completely.
Now, if you want to reach that state of Jivan Mukta and Satchidanand Atma, yoga and consciousness are two separate aspects. Yes. You can't say, I am a yogi. You cannot become a real yogi who is a real Buddha. All these, that's why we spoke about the 8 stages of spiritual awakening. How do you reach the 8 stages of spiritual awakening? Yeah. So and I want you all to have complete clarity. If you have a doubt, you must ask me. You should not go home with any doubt. Bliko Suvinay.
Shivoham.
I
will give you 2 analogy.
Yeah.
Instead of, explaining everything. So the consciousness is like a river. consciousness is like a river flowing, and yoga is like a what do you call soul. The river is always connected to its source. So river cannot exist without the source. If you are leaving the source, you are out of the river. So it's like an alarm. Yoga is like an alarm which keep you constantly connected to the divine. That is the purpose of yoga, to give you complete reminder all the time to be in consciousness with divine. So if you are in divine consciousness, you are always holding hand of yoga.
No,
if your hand is slipped.
But this, Brico, you are turning some words a little different. Brico, I am trying to explain to you a state of consciousness where there's no yoga. Suppose you are Bharat living in consciousness. You are, what does it mean living in consciousness, Bharat? Bharat living in consciousness means, huh?
You are in consciousness, you are connected with divine all the time.
No. You are thoughtless.
Thoughtless.
In the state of consciousness, you have stilled the mind. You are in a state of consciousness. You may be evolving in the state of truth. There may be no divine yet at all. There may be no picture of divine. You may be in the state of neti, tattvamasi. You may be in ISIS, I am a soul. You may be just in that level of consciousness. Where is divine picture? Not yet in the scene. This is one track of evolution where you are reaching from Chit to Sat Chit. You are going in this direction. Now, if you keep going in this direction, will you become ever a Buddha and a Jivan Mukta and a Sthit Pragya? Can you become?
No, you need knowledge. Yeah.
You need what? You need along with Chitta, what do you need on the other side?
The realization of the knowledge, truth, realization of truth.
And what else you need?
You need yoga for that.
And why you need yoga?
To get to the knowledge.
What is the realization? What are we talking about?
Yoga will convert your knowledge into realization.
You're missing. You're saying right, but one keyword you're missing. I'm asking you the question. Why is consciousness evolution, what we spoke yesterday, moving from consciousness and going up on one side? Why is that not enough? Why do we need yoga?
Yoga will give you boost. It is like a catalyst to create the process faster.
You're not saying the keyword. Why do we need yoga?
To connect with the divine. Yoga is connecting to divine.
You're saying after such a long time. without connecting with the divine, without connecting ISIS, without connecting this consciousness to the divine grace and divine, can we ever reach Buddha and can we go upward?
Never.
So therefore, are we clear what we are saying? These two, let me give you the answer. Yoga and consciousness are the two tracks on which the train of spirituality runs.
That is what I was telling. The train, the river is consciousness, and the kinara, what do you call it? The sur is the yoga.
Yeah,
right.
But you are trying to say it, but say now look at it this way. Suppose one track breaks, because what happens? Suppose one track breaks, so what happens to the train?
Train fall down.
Train
derails. Yeah, derails.
If we want to reach that state of awakening and unification with the divine, on one side, you need to continue to go in yoga. You need to become a yogi, jo yog mein sada hi rahe. You try to be a yogi on one side. You try to evolve in consciousness on the other side. In this consciousness, you try to get to realization of the truth. In yoga, you try to be mumukshu. You try to yearn for the divine. You yearn for the divine. As you're yearning for the divine, and you are in consciousness and your mind is overtaken and you're living with intellectual, then these two, the divine consciousness and the truth consciousness. Yoga is divine consciousness. Chit leads to truth consciousness. When divine consciousness and truth consciousness join, then the rocket takes up and you reach the state of Satchidananda. Now, if somebody wants clarification or you have not understood, we have 5 minutes to clarify. Suvinay.
Guruji Pranam.
Pranam, sir.
Guruji, a few days ago, you gave us a term, spiritual muscle.
Yes.
So we go to gym to build our muscles, to keep
Yes.
ourselves fit. So
Yes.
yoga is a process to build our spiritual muscles.
Correct.
And consciousness, to be in consciousness, when we build our muscles and we are in consciousness, we, as you rightly said, these are the true tracks. When we build our, when we follow the process of yogic practices, and we are in consciousness, it is very easy for us to reach the divine.
You know, do you go to gym?
No, Guruji, I go to play table tennis and all that.
I also don't. Who goes to gym? Anybody goes to gym? I am told that if you want to go to gym, your trainer will not only make you run on the treadmill. Not only he will make you run on a treadmill, he will make you carry some weights. He will make you carry weight because if you want to build muscle, he will tell you 2-3 different things to do to build your muscle. To build spiritual muscle, yoga is very important. Yoga is not asana. Yoga is not pranayama. Yoga is reaching that state. You keep going up till you reach that state. That's why they call it samadhi. Yoga and the samadhi is nothing but consciousness and yoga becoming one. Samadhi is Satchidanand. But Patanjali explained it in his own way called Ashtanga Yoga and 8 limbs of yoga. But I like to make it very simple. And I don't know all of you who have spoken and you want some more clarity, my dear friends. Let us have very simple clarity on the subject. That if we want to reach the state of Satchidanand Atma, if we want to reach that point, then we must be that yoga is very important. Yoga is union. Now, when we talk about Dhyana Yoga, it is being in that state of meditation united with divine. Karma Yoga, we work as a divine instrument. Jnana Yoga, this subject, this discussion is not for anything else. This discussion is to make us united with the divine. Bhakti Yoga, not just doing bhajan kirtan, no, that bhajan kirtan which unites us with God. Prema Yoga, not prema, not love, not lust, not for the skin, but for the divine that is within. All these yogas take us closer, closer, closer to the divine. But it's not enough. This yoga must grow along with consciousness. What we spoke yesterday, evolving in levels of consciousness. And therefore I say the 2 tracks of the train, the 2 tracks of the spiritual express. What are the 2 tracks of the spiritual express? Yoga and consciousness. You keep on growing on a yoga to become yoga, 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 yogi. You keep on growing in chitta, 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 where you then reach Sat Chit Anand. The moment you're reaching Sat Chit Anand and you're becoming a yogi, you've reached the final level. Over to you. Anybody wants to say something and we'll close. We don't need to take it much longer today unless you all want time. Over to you. And if Chidanand or anybody wants to, who has spoken earlier wants to say something, Shayad, you can. Rekha, yes, any comment, Rekha, you want to give? And Suvina, I'll come back to Suvina. Rekha, bolo.
शुरू में
Sure.
जितने अच्छे से लीला और माया समझ में आ रहा उतने अच्छे से कॉन्शियसनेस और योगा फिर भी समझ में आ रहा लेकिन कॉन्शियसनेस बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग है.
हाँ, बिकॉज जब तक माइंड है कॉन्शियसनेस समझ में नहीं आएगा. जब तक माइंड है, इट्स जस्ट लाइक सेइंग जब तक लाइट है तो डार्कनेस नहीं होगा ना. जब तक डार्कनेस है तो लाइट नहीं है ना. एक बार कॉन्शियसनेस हो जाए आ जाएगा तो माइंड चले जाएगा. अभी कॉन्शियसनेस क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? कॉन्शियसनेस नहीं आ रहा है बिकॉज माइंड अलाइव है. जब तक माइंड जिंदा है कॉन्शियसनेस कभी नहीं आएगा. तो माइंड को मारो पहले. Suvina is not there. I'm going to Chidanand and Suvina wants to come back. Chidanand.
In the practical life, the 2 tracks never meet. Here, this track at the end has to meet.
I really don't know they meet or they don't meet because this goes into oblivion. These 2 tracks will take us into actually Chidanand. They don't meet. because both these tracks will lead us into nirvana, will lead us into moksha. So, so we don't need these two tracks to meet actually. The yogi who's in yoga and the seeker in Satchidanand, is there any way to make out where they meet, what they become? Ha, you're right. Probably they may meet at that state of Satchidanand Atma when they were just before, but the train of spirituality may be riding on these tracks till the moment of death and till the moment of unification. Neither you know nor I know. We right now we can either say this or that. But what today's discussion, Chidanand, has to make one point clear to everybody. We need to develop our yoga. We must not underestimate yoga. Yoga is very important. How much you may be very intelligent. You may be Satchidanand. You may be living in Satchidanand, right? When will you be what Krishna said? What Krishna was asked the question, what if the Satchidanand Atma falls down? When can the Satchidanand, what Atma fall down, Chidanand? When can that Satchidanand
when the yoga is lost.
when the yoga is not there, say Krishna, when the yoga is not there, the Satchidanand Atma can fall down. Because when the yoga is not there, the Satchidanand guy can get into bhoga. So it is so important. There are two analogies. One is we talked of the two tracks, or if you talk about your two hands and there are two ropes, you hold both these ropes. One rope is yoga. Try to not get into bhoga. What is this bhoga? Bhoga is indriya. We are going into these indriyas, correct? And then the other hand is chitta, where you evolve. Yesterday we spoke how beautifully we spoke on you evolve in the levels of consciousness, where the mind disappears, the mind doesn't exist. Today is Ramanavami. Before I close for 30 seconds, and everybody is sending messages of Ramanavami, and they asked me to send a message of Ramanavami. So they're celebrating the birthday of Lord Rama, when in reality, God is never born and God can never die. But if Rama was our personal God, there's no harm. But the song I sent out today, the song I sent to everybody today was, जैसे हनुमान से पूछा श्री राम ने, तुम्हारा मुझसे क्या है नाता? हनुमान ने कहा प्रभु दास हूँ आपका. हनुमान ने कहा प्रभु दास हूँ आपका. पर जब जान गया मैं हूँ आत्मा, जब जान गया मैं हूँ आत्मा. मैं भी एक आत्मा, आप भी तो एक आत्मा है. मैं भी एक आत्मा, आप भी तो एक आत्मा है. फर्क नहीं है हमारा. राम फिर प्रसन्न हुए हनुमान के एहसास से, कि सच में दोनों परमात्मा परमात्मा. The story of Rama and Hanuman. But many people are sending me images of Hanuman taking a cake and saying happy birthday Ram, Shri Ram. And they take big fun of the whole thing on the internet. My dear friends, this group is evolved. I only hope that each one of us grows. And as we move forward in this journey of yoga, in this journey of chitta, till we reach that state of Satchidanand Atma, a state of liberation from all misery and become one with the divine. Tomorrow we meet at 7:30. I fold my hands and bow down to you.